Director's Cut, where we feature directors and creators of animation, film, documentaries, and videos. My name's Greg. Normally I produce animation, but today I'm your host. And today we have a guest all the way from KK Sabah. But before we introduce him, let's look at the awesome animation trailer. Roll it! Welcome back to the Director's Cut. And today we have a special guest all the way from KK Sabah. His name is Geoffrey Sinn, the owner, founder, and director and creator, everything in from All for One Productions. Let's welcome him to the show. Hi, Geoffrey. Welcome to the show.
Hi,
Good to
thanks for
see you
having
again.
me. Good to see you again, Greg.
Glad to have you with us. So, Geoffrey, can you tell us a little bit about your company? What does your company do? What kind of work that you do? And a little bit about yourself, how you got into animation.
Wow, that's a long story. I'll just try to keep it short.
Yeah, keep it short.
So, my company, All for One Productions, we focus on animation productions right now. Mainly, we currently providing outsourced services, animation production services to overseas companies from Singapore, US, sometimes Europe, mainly doing mini animation series for YouTube, sometimes for TV. And we have been doing like service work for quite a few years. And recently in 2018, we started to do our own very first original IP, our original show called Legend of Ancient Borneo. And we took part in IPCC organized by MDEC in 2018, and we actually won some grant to make it into a short animated film. And myself, I've studied animation in Lim Kok Weng Institute of Creative Technology. Yeah, it was quite some time ago. Started to lost sense of where I've studied. So it was more than 10 years ago. I jumped straight into the animation industry right after I graduated, and later on I got headhunted and to join the industry in Singapore. All the way until 2008, I came back to Sabah and started my own company, and we started to just grow my business from there onwards. Yeah.
Cool. And that brings us to your latest project, right? I think this is a much talked about project. You've won some awards there, right? So can you just tell us what awards you've been winning with this project, and tell us about this project?
Wow. There's a lot to tell about, a lot to talk about this project. Actually, it all started with an idea of actually to measure ourselves in terms of our own animation production capacity and also our own skills and all that. We just wanted to try to make something original that was inspired by local stories and all that. So a friend of mine, Guan and Rob, they made this short comic called Legend of the Ancient Borneo. So we were saying, hey, why not we just give it a try and make it into animation and see how it looks? Maybe it'll look cool. So we started from there, and all the way when we won the grant from MDEC, and it took us like 12 months to actually make it work. And we have learned a lot. It's also an opportunity for us, for local talents here in Sabah who has like very little opportunity to join the industry that is like in Peninsula or in Cyberjaya, to actually have an opportunity to work in real productions. So we took 12 months to complete the whole short animation. And then there are like 40 of us working on this short 8-minute animation. Most of them are first timer. We have also a few veterans overseeing the whole productions. And actually the score, I mean, the music was actually done by Ronald from Kuching. We've met over the internet, Facebook. He's a very talented musician and artist. And it's very, I mean, his music actually blends well with our animation. It was like, wow. And then after that we submitted the short film into all the animation festivals around the world through online platforms, and we actually won the best animated short film in animation festival in India. And then we were awarded, we also won silver. We are the silver winner in the Malaysia rounds of Digicon Asia. Yeah, we also got selected to be the finalists in some of the film and animation festivals in LA, in Italy, Portugal, and some other film festivals in the other side of the world, that we countries that never even heard of what is Borneo or where is Borneo. So that's quite a fruitful journey for us.
Wow, that's fruitful
Yeah,
is the word. That's amazing. From just one short film, right? Funded by
right.
the IPCC challenge, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, congratulations. And
Thank you.
okay, we're gonna show a little bit of the clip, and I think it's about 48 seconds. It's a trailer, right?
Yes, it's a
So
trailer.
we'll play that and let the audience watch it, and
Okay.
then we'll come back. Welcome back to the Director's Cut, and for this episode today, we have Geoffrey Sinn all the way from KK Sabah, all for one productions. If you've seen this madness on Facebook, this craze, this popularity with this animation that seems to be coming from Sabah, it's called Legend of Ancient Borneo. Well, this is the man behind it, Geoffrey Sinn. Welcome back, Geoffrey.
Thank you.
So
Yes.
good to have you here with us again. We were talking about Legend of Ancient Borneo, and we're gonna break it down. We're gonna break it
Okay.
down for those people out there, the audience, who want to know how an animation is made. So you mentioned before that you had about 40 people working on this uh,
Yeah.
short film, right? And how long is this short film, and how long did it take you to complete this production?
Oh, okay. So the whole short film is around 8 minutes and 43 seconds. It took us around like 12 months to actually wrap up everything. Well, it was quite incredible when you hear that, what, 8 minutes, and you took like 12 months to finish, but to complete. But actually, well, it can be done sooner. But because we are also under a mentorship program by MDEC, so we need to like get each phase of our production approved before we can actually move forward to the next phase. So we actually spent 3 to 4 months just to lock down on the story. With that, I mean the story and the script, and then with that only we managed to move forward to the storyboards, the layout, the designs, and all that. So, well, to many people, I mean, to many of those that are not very aware of how animation was done, actually, animation, it's not as easy as you imagine. It's not just like pure drawing. A lot of it, a lot of work that is done behind the scenes are not actually seen uh, from the animation that you've seen on screen. there's a saying that more than half of the work done in the animation is not shown on screen. Most of it are like designing, drawings, sketching.
Development stage, right?
Yes, the
So
development
yeah,
stage.
so which brings the question: how long? You were saying that it took 12 months to do it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So out of that 12 months, how many months did you spend on development?
I
Was it
think
enough?
no, it's not enough. Well, to get a story, to get the story that can really touch your audience, that they can really feel the story, the characters, and all that. Actually, the most important part is the development. You need to make sure the characters are relevant. The characters have very good backstories, very good personality, and all that. So that's why it's very important to invest into the development. So we spend around, like, out of 12 months, we spend around 6 to 7 months on the development, on, like,
Wow.
character designs, the stories, streamlining of the stories, the environment, the world structure setup. And then we also did quite a few tests, colors, mood boards, layouts, and all that. And then we spent around like 1 to 2 months just to craft the storyboards, and then we're like left with like 2 to 3 months just to rush out all the animation. There are 141 scenes in the shot in the animation, and 141 scenes that equals to like 141 backgrounds environment, and then 141 scenes to animate. That's quite a lot of work.
And you guys are doing frame by frame, right?
Yes,
That
yes,
takes
yes,
a lot of
yes.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, I think if you had more months to do the animation, of course, I think work can be spread out, and you probably could reduce the number of animators, right? But
Yeah, something like that, something like that. But yeah, because to be
yeah,
frank,
but
there are a lot of us. We are trying. I mean, we were given this, actually, a privilege to actually try out a few things, to try a lot of new method that we never tried before. So we also spend quite a little bit of resources on doing research, doing tryouts, and all that. So I think if we were given more time, it's still not enough. Time is never enough.
mm,
So yeah.
how difficult was it to train animators? Because 40, that's a lot.
Yeah. So actually, one of our goals is actually give more industrial exposure to local talents here, which are in, like, Sabah, to get a taste of the real productions, because a lot of them just graduated from their universities or colleges, also can't really land animation job here in Sabah. So we actually took the opportunity to train them up. So, well, the problem is a lot of these fresh graduates, they are very weak in their foundation. That means most probably a lot of them can't really draw very well. So we also have to spend some time on training their fundamentals in drawing. And if you're talking about how difficult it is to actually train the animators, it's equivalent on how much resources and how much time you need to spend on them, because it's not like learning how to cook. Even if you learn how to cook, you need to practice, right? It's not like learning how to put together furniture. Just follow the manual, and then you know how to, like, put together a piece of sofa or table. Doing animation needs a lot of practice. It needs a lot of dedication. It needs a lot of passion and patience.
Mm.
So there's no shortcut. So when we train, we constantly need the animators to, like, practice, draw, just keep on drawing until they get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you mention the foundation,
Mhm.
drawing as a
Yeah.
skill, that's a
Mhm.
foundation that someone needs, right? I
Mhm.
think some of our audience members, I think the audience, especially the young ones who are thinking of going into animation, their ears are pricked up. So
Mhm.
so when you
Yeah.
mention foundation, right? What do you actually mean so that they understand what you're talking about? foundation
right.
needs to be strong?
Yes. So basically, I mean, to be really blunt and simple is first you need to make sure whatever you intend to draw looks like what you want to draw. You see, I mean, for example, you can't draw a dog which ended up looking like a cat. So you need to be well, to be more specific, you need to be very good in human anatomy, your structure
Right,
drawings,
right.
your perspective, your you need to be very observant of your surroundings, even though sometimes there's a saying that, oh, we draw from imagination, I can visualize my, my creativity from my ideas and all that. But to be frank, even, whatever fantasy story, whatever fiction stories or animation that you've watched or comics that you've read, it's all based on real world elements. A unicorn looks
Right,
like a horse, so you need to know how to
right,
draw a horse. So something like that. So that's the fundamental.
right. So Geoffrey Sinn has spoken. Okay. So all those of you who are interested to be animators in the future, you have to have strong drawing skills. Okay. So we'll find out more from Geoffrey when we come back. So we got to take a break right now. Okay. Welcome back to the Director's Cut, and today we have Geoffrey Sinn from All for One Productions. Jeffrey, so we've been talking
Yes.
about the important thing that you need to be an animator, the skills,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's look at a bigger picture. So I would like to know what you think about our Malaysian animation industry in Malaysia right now.
Mm-hmm.
Whether there are some challenges for us or challenges that you are facing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and also maybe in the context of being in Borneo.
Mm. All right. So, well, overview of the Malaysian's animation industry. If you look at like 2019 was actually the best year for animation industry in Malaysia. We have 3 feature film, Upin Ipin, Agent Ali, and Boy Boy Boy, which came out, which released in the cinema, and all 3 of them were actually part of the top 10 grossing uh, box office in the Malaysian's
Mm,
history.
yeah.
I mean, the top grossing film. That proves that actually Malaysia's animation industry is actually blooming. If you look at other Southeast Asia countries, we don't see many animation films coming out from the region in Southeast Asia. But I mean, that is, of course, when you look at it as a whole. But if you look at it part by part, the industry is actually very, very focused in Cyberjaya, where most
Mm,
of the established animation studios are in either focus in Cyberjaya or KL,
right. Right.
and the other part of the country actually has very little activities going on, especially here in Borneo, which is Sabah, Sarawak. We hardly
Mm,
have any sustaining animation companies that are, that are active or
mm,
are actually surviving. So, which makes it very difficult to actually expand the industry growth, because when everyone is like just so focused on the Cyberjaya, and then which uh, it the industry growth is very difficult to reach out to to the whole to the whole country, which also
mm,
which also give very little opportunities to talents
mm.
that are all scattered all around the country,
Right. Right.
especially for those like in Sabah and Sarawak. There are actually a lot of underprivileged young talents who came from a very poor family, who wanted to stay home to do what they are passionate in, animation, comics, or any creative industry or careers,
Right.
but they can't really afford to venture all the way to KL. And some of them just purely wanted to stay home and do what they like, and believe that as long as they are passionate, everything can happen.
I think one of the things that you wanted to talk about was also something to do with local stories, how we can mine or how we can find local stories and how we can adapt that or bring that up into popular media, into a popular form, such as
Yeah.
animation.
Yes, actually, if you look at it, both Sabah and Sarawak it's very rich in culture and in stories. And but sadly, most of these like stories or folklores has become more and more irrelevant to the younger generations and all that. I mean,
Mm,
partly it's because lost in translation, because there's not very well documented and all that. But by using media like animations or films or other creative industries, creative artworks, it can actually preserve the stories, preserve the culture, and even preserve the teachings of uh, of our ancestors and pass it along in the digital form. So sadly, there's not much being done in terms of like for Sabah, for example. So people are still trying to find ways to actually tell the stories from their ancestor or from their heritage and make it relevant to the new generations. I think there are a lot of areas that we can actually explore on how to adapt all these heritage and stories and turn it into animation to actually make our future generations to be proud of their own identity, to have this dignity to be who they are. No, just so they understand where their roots and to be proud of who they are.
Thank you for sharing that. That's certainly very important. And yeah, we understand that in Sabah, Sarawak, and also in Malaysia, anyway, else you go, actually, local stories and folk tales and folklores and all that are very, very important. And animation is one of the best way to preserve that, right? And help convey that. And thank you for sharing your the topics which you hold dear to your heart. We feel that too. We have the same issue here as well. So just to wrap up, we know we just revisit what you have mentioned. The key takeaway is number one: if you want to be an animator, you need good foundation. Number two, I think our industry need more support from the government, right? And number three, uh, tell more local stories and learn
Yes,
how to tell it
yes,
well, right?
yeah, yes, and
Anything to
also
add?
to yeah, perhaps to actually to start to have our society to accept creative and arts as part of the system. I mean, there's still a lot of stereotypes from the parents or from the society that creative animations and all that are not generating any. And I mean, you can't survive working in the creative industry, but actually that's quite wrong, and it's very very wrong. So there's something that needs to be done to change this perception. So I hope this will be
Wonderful.
changed. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. With that, we will wrap up. That's a very good, nice punch there. Thank you, Geoffrey,
All
for
right.
joining
Thanks.
us in this episode. Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having me.
much.
See
Yeah.
you
So
soon.
to the audience out there, keep following us. Come back and join us for our next episode, where we will interview more directors and more animators. So keep watching. Bye bye.
Bye.
Signing off.